Drew Brees posted a lengthy apology on Instagram. If you're just joining us, this was what he wrote. I would like to apologize to my friends, teammates, the city of New Orleans, the black community, NFL community, and anyone I hurt with my comments yesterday. In speaking with some of you, it breaks my heart to know the pain I've caused. In an attempt to talk about respect, unity, and solidarity centered around the American flag and the national anthem, I made comments that were insensitive and completely missed the mark on the issues we are facing right now as a country. They lacked awareness and any type of compassion or empathy. Instead, those words have become divisive and hurtful and have misled people into believing that somehow I am an enemy. This could not be further from the truth and is not an accurate reflection of my heart or my character. This is where I stand. I stand with the black community in the fight against systemic racial injustice and police brutality and support the creation of real policy change that will make a difference. I condemn the years of oppression that have taken place throughout our black communities and still exists today. I acknowledge that we as Americans, including myself, have not done enough to fight for that equality or to truly understand the struggles and plight of the black community. I recognize that I am part of the solution and can be a leader for the black community in this movement. I will never know what it's like to be a black man or raise black children in America, but I will work every day to put myself in those shoes and fight for what is right. I've always been an ally, never an enemy. I'm sick about the way my comments were perceived yesterday, but I take full responsibility and accountability. I recognize that I should do less talking and more listening. And when the black community is talking about their pain, we all need to listen. For that, I'm very sorry, and I ask your forgiveness. We have coverage this morning from our NFL insider, Dianna Russini, who is very well connected with the New Orleans Saints. And Dianna, good morning. I know you've spoken to a lot of players and others in the organization. What can you tell us about the state of the Saints right now?
Yeah, Greeny, it's been an emotional 24 hours for this team. Talking to players yesterday before this apology came out, there was a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. Players that didn't want to give me quotes. They didn't want to keep adding fuel to the fire. Although a lot of these players, guys that I know, love Drew Brees as a teammate, were out on Twitter yesterday sharing their opinions, thoughts, liking comments, very anti-Drew Brees' comments and statements. So here we are now. Drew Brees puts out this statement. Players that I've spoken to say they're proud of what he said. They believe in his words. The sentiments have changed. Now, I obviously have not spoken to every single member of this team, but I did speak to the head coach, Sean Payton, who also agrees he is proud of Drew's statement at this time, the apology that he put out. Now, the team does have a meeting later today. This was a meeting that was planned. This was not because of yesterday's statements and all the war of words that were taking place on social media. This was something that was already planned and discussed. And I'm told the meeting is obviously going to shift. This isn't going to be about football. This is going to be a healthy conversation that we've seen all around the NFL. And Greeny, I can tell you, I cover this team very closely. You don't know every single secret that goes on. You don't know what happens behind closed doors. But I have seen this team go through a lot of trouble, problems. We've obviously seen them lose games together. And even when it's been challenging, even when it's been difficult, even when there can be pointing and blame, it is very difficult to get this team to turn on each other because they take a lot of pride in sticking together. So I'm going to assume that this conversation is going to be healthy. I don't think it's going to change everything, but I do think the first step here is going to be for them to all come together and to start having a very healthy discussion. As we've seen all around the league, these team meetings have really, really educated and changed the minds of a lot of players and teams and coaches as everyone is trying to figure out how to get better, educate, reflect, and listen.
It was an extraordinary day yesterday to the extent that you rarely, if ever, see high-profile players on a team publicly criticizing the highest-profile player on their own team the way that they did. What were the players saying about that? What did Sean Payton say about that?
There was a lot of confusion. I do know that there were group texts. There were conversations being had from players who did not agree with what Drew Brees had to say. They were trying to come up with how they wanted to approach Drew Brees. I know some of the veteran players that are very close to him, they had conversations with him. So I think the good here is there's been communication. They may not all be on the same page right now, but this team is in line with an understanding that they have to talk. And it seems that that is what's going to get accomplished today.